Garrett.
Indo.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. What's cracking? Welcome to the Night Community Tournament. This is going to be the Group 2 qualifiers, and this is obviously round 1. For those of you who aren't quite acclimated as to who we are, I'm Red Eyes, your ever-lovable and adorably cuddly caster, bringing you that daily dosage of butt-kickery, tomfoolery, and all-around shenaniganism. And I'm not alone at all today. I'm joined by my main man, DK. Go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Oh, what's up, guys? My intro is nothing like Red Eyes, but I'm all the way from South Africa and quite excited to see what's going to be happening on our Group 2 today, as we have quite a bit of an excitement ahead of us. We've got a few returning teams that we saw last week, but also a few names that I've not seen yet.
Yeah, we got some fresh faces here in the mix as well, and definitely some of the people who competed last week have the opportunity here to correct the errors from week 1 as they come into this one. But guys, we have just 3 rounds coming at you today, just 3 rounds to determine who will be advancing to the finals. We got 20 teams competing today, only 10 will advance. Here we got Exclusive Esports, Overhaul, Masatos Esports, Thirsty Island Gold, Team Supreme, Aramata, Zero Remorse, Max Split, Holy, Redemption, As FCK, Forsaken Gaming, Eternal Gaming, who did not show Eternal Gaming is banned, Detrimental, Twisted Minds, Noobs Galaxy, Game Over Forever, Bope Esports, Dauntless, and 1D. So I'm expecting action right off the bat, and we are going to kick things off, as we said, with an Erangel. Now, what needs to be said about Erangel? It's basically the off-bred love child of Sandhawk and Miramar, because it is the perfect middle ground between those two extremes, which does leave it fairly reliant upon the flight path to determine what sort of early game we end up getting. And here we see it. It's not a particularly bad path at all. It's not perfectly central by any means, but it's going to leave enough drop spots here for rare participants. And already we can see people getting some early starts. Looks like we got the crew in Thirsty. Sorry, buddy, go ahead.
No, I just said yeah.
About to say, once my mouth gets going, it's like an Energizer battery. It just keeps going. So we got Thirsty Island traveling below Gatka. To their north, we're going to see Exclusive Esports heading westbound alongside the crew in Detrimental, as well as Game Over Forever. Much further northbound, we see a lot more jumpers here. We got the crew in Bope Esports jumping alongside Team Supreme heading westbound. Team Supreme actually pretty split up. There's the other members here messing around with Dauntless, who apparently have brought in somebody from Wall Street Bets to do some of the heavy lifting here for them. Interestingly enough, we got Team Holy dropping alongside 1D at Severny. I think I'm going to start by tuning into that, because 1D is as a team that I definitely want to keep an eye out on, just because they had a kind of a underdog story last week in that they didn't exactly excel in the first 2 matches, and then in match 3 of the qualifiers just came in and absolutely dominated a Sandhawk match with 11 kills. So they definitely have the skill to be here and to advance onto the finals for sure. And it all depends on, I guess to their strategy and how well they implement it this go around, but we'll have to wait and see. Zero Remorse and Forsaken Gaming.
Yeah, that's where the fight's going to be at, up in towards Rozhok. And I mean, it's great to see a little bit of that hot drop action coming through, right? We see this congestion rather coming up in towards Rozhok. The same can be said up in towards Severny, but we also have a little bit of that play happening over towards the Georgiable container yard. So 3 points at least for the starting part of this game. We are going to be having a little bit of that contentious play coming through, but we can see also towards that Stolber area, we do see the players then, of course, from Max Split dropping right there alongside the players then coming through, actually then from the side of Twisted Mind. So a lot of teams dropping so close together. I think it's going to result in a very sweaty start to this game.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised. On a map as large as Erangel, you absolutely are going to get some close encounters every now and again, but to have this many close altercations in the mix here this early on it's kind of a treat here, because you'll often find, as we say, DK and I often say, is that on large maps, you can be left with these moments of downtime, and large maps are going to be 2 out of the 3 maps that we're working with today. So we are pretty fortunate here to be in the midst of some close potential altercations here. But look, if you are the crew in Redemption, way down south at Military Base, you are just coasting right now with nobody around at all for a while to worry about. Oh, Max Split has already lost 1 member. It's Piddles is down, leaving things in the hands of CCC, Mellow, and Pindaboy. And
yeah, this is a very, very split up play coming through here from them. As we can see, Melo not being anywhere near the rest of the team, actually dropping much, much further away, a lot further down towards that hillside. But this is where we got to see what Bit is going to be bringing on through, right? They are about to be challenged or potentially be challenged by the players coming through there from Twisted Minds. But we've got to add into that Twisted Minds is also adopting a very spread out approach. Meanwhile, we do see a few of those utilities now getting sent across up in towards Savernia as the players here from Holy and 1D go toe-to-toe, and with that, it is going to be actually the elimination of 1D in the early stage.
Yep, unfortunately, 1D facing a bit of a, I'll say it's a combination of bad luck, you know, just in that they did drop alongside the enemy, but you know that, and they're a fresh team. You know, they're just building their synergy, getting their experience going, and it's understandable. And I'm just glad that they're coming back and participating. And one thing I do know about 1D is that they don't give up at all. And even if they have a rough 2 matches, they've shown that they can perform so well in certain maps that they can bring themselves back into the top 10 bracket. At least that's what happened last week. We'll see if lightning strikes twice.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that we see that playing out once again. But for the meantime, we're going to be waiting to see where the teams are going to be looking to rotate up in towards the players there from Dauntless. Also going to be opting for a little bit more of a push, heading up towards that Stalber position. But as we can see, all the way down in towards the container yard, it is turning out to be a little bit of a risky play, right? The players now coming through from the side of Noobs Galaxy are going to find themselves in quite a sticky situation, as Jareen is going to be the final hopeful, and they are completely encircled by the opposition. So I'm not quite sure how much longer Jareen's going to be able to survive in this current setup.
I mean, it's going to be a tough situation no matter what, but he does have that M249 squad wiper. He's going to have the bullets, you know, at least in his favor. But all for naught, he was just outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. And caster cursed as well.
You know, it's unfortunate when it kind of pans out that way. I mean, I'd like to say that it's a caster blessing, you know, when we talk about teams. But so far, it's been a pretty tough run. And speaking about tough runs, you can see the players here from Miramar also now looking to contest against the players from Forsaken Gaming. And again, we see Forsaken coming in with that 2-2 split, right? Keeping 2 players up front, the other 2 moving across that passage, setting themselves up on a little bit of an elevated position. So this could actually be a beautiful setup coming through here for Forsaken now.
Yeah, I think Forsaken, I've known these guys for quite some time. They've been a team now for, I'd say maybe even going on 1.5 years, 2 years. They've been doing a lot of events, you know, did a lot of my UC rooms back in the day. They've got a lot of synergy with one another, and they're all very experienced players. Definitely high tier 2, bordering into that tier 1 category. They're very experienced, and so I think that them doing a 2-2 split is a fairly comfortable move for them. I know for a lot of teams, I wouldn't advise a 2-2 split just because it can leave a lot of vulnerable moments. It has a lot of advantages as well. Your team is not all going to be clapped down at the same time. You have a little bit of a one last trick in your pocket. If 2 of you guys are taken down, you still have half your team elsewhere. So it does have its benefits, but at the same time, you as a 2-piece are much more vulnerable. However, Forsaken Gaming is a very aggressive team. They are not afraid of confrontation too much, as I see a guy hiding in a bush as I say that. But they are fairly confrontational and thrive on aggressive gameplay for the most part. So I don't think that they are in a very uncomfortable position for themselves. We can see Jordan here cooking up some utilities here, aimed in at 12 and beautifully thrown.
I mean, that was a Jordan throw, right? That is exactly what it was. Pinpoint accuracy, hitting the shot right there. And now it is going to be a bit of a continuation on that. It is going to be a beautiful bit of a rush around the corner, picks up another knockdown. And now it's going to be that opportunity for the players here from Forsaken to rush on forward and just show as much aggression as they can manage. But Eramata looking a little bit worse for wear. Fortunately, they still have Bright as their final remaining hopeful. But it does seem like the players from Forsaken Gaming are actually now starting to take a bit of an engagement just over towards that northern side.
Yeah, this could be a great opportunity here for the last remaining member of Aramata. Bright, he could come in for a potential third party, but in doing so, he is likely going to be eliminated. The odds of him coming out of a 1v3 scenario or a 1v2 even against Forsaken Gaming is a lot slimmer, but he does get the takedown on turn. He aims in at Jordan, but no connecting damage.
Wow, that was some beautiful shooting. I mean, Bright almost banking in on that one. Does instead pick up the elimination, the confirmation onto turn. But Jordan now going to be looking to just push up in, and it's going to be that rush coming through from Zero Remorse. We've seen a lot of aggression come from Zero Remorse in last week's performances, so I'm looking for them to continue on with that momentum as they now push on forward and just try to bring in a spread right quick with the reaction there, but it's not going to be sufficient as they do get traded right on down.
Yeah, it was a good effort, but, you know, it ultimately for not, you know, the odds were stacked against him pretty much from the get-go. But I like what the Masatos are doing here up against the crew in Redemption, surrounding them on multiple sides. You've seen this numerous times throughout the last week's qualifiers and even yesterday, this kind of split-up approach where they kind of surround and constrict upon their opponents here. And there's a great takedown by Hypercedo onto 1804 with a 3x Scarrel combo.
Well, Masato's a very formidable team, but we can say a very similar thing about the SW3 from Redemption. And now I think it is down to utilization of the positioning that these players have had, right? Masato's really finding some good sprays, as we can see Hypercedo now continuing to lay it on super thick, picking up yet another knock. And this is opening up a beautiful opportunity for the players here from Masato's to come rushing in, as we still see 3 players up for them, and it is going to be Hypercedo trying to push through that final few nails into the coffin.
Yeah, and I think when you got 2 takedowns, it looks like 1804 was picked up again, though. If they could have maybe gotten those 2 takedowns a little bit closer in proximity to one another, it might have been a push, but I believe there was a very brief period where both of them were actually down there. So, okay, I'm going to say his name is 9K, and driving upward, it looks like they're going to be trying to pull a northbound uphill rotation to get a side flank on their opponents, Hypercedo. Or actually, maybe they're dipping out. With that wide of a flank, I'm going to say they're just dipping out.
Yeah.
And
that
that's
seems to be them dipping out. Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. It's respectable as well, because looking at what we have in that zone, a big chunk of that eastern side is going to be open for the taking. So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to fend off the advances from Thirsty Island Gold as they come rushing on forward. But it's going to be a beautiful spray to welcome them in. Confirmation gets pushed right on through. And Fujin now having such a difficult play. And oh, down they go as the final hits come in. And it's going to be the end of the road for Team Supreme.
I feel like he was almost in a plane crash. The plane landed successfully, and then he was killed on the cab ride home right there. He almost got away with it, and then faced the same fate ultimately. But at least he was able to rack up a few kills before doing so. Good effort on his end. Gonna switch my attention over to Split Max, at this point operating as a 2-piece of Mellow and Pindaboy, driving in between players in Bope and Holy, and driving outward towards the edge zone. Interesting little strategy here, perhaps going towards the Severny outskirts. We hear some shots in the distance from the Bope crew. I'm wondering if they're firing inbound at Holy.
It could have been. I mean, like they've got a great vantage point down that hillside, looking at where the rotation has gone from Max Split. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of those shots actually connected up onto Melo and their teammate. But now, as we can see, there are 2 points of aggression being shown on the map. We've got a little bit of that congestion on the eastern side, but also a very difficult play now coming through on that western edge. So we can see the players coming through from Game Over Forever, now looking to keep up a little bit of that pressure, maybe trying to push in, and they are going up against, of course, the players coming through from the side of Masato.
All the while, we got Redemption here facing off against Twisted Minds. We got Kai inbound with some mollies, trying to rain hellfire upon his opponent, Didi. D4Ds. You guys have some just crazy names. I promise. When you name your characters, you're like, how can I mess up the caster's day to day? All right, let's see. Kai's utility's not quite connecting the way he was hoping for, and it looks like Twisted Minds is going to use this opportunity to bow out. Masato's clear out of the action now with nothing to do but work their way into zone. And it looks like the early real estate claiming is going to happen mainly in Yasnaya. It seems to be the last big city left in this zone, with Zero Remorse already claiming some pinnacle real estate. Looks like the players in Overhaul have a similar idea, as well as Detrimental. As we could see a potential confrontation in the works here between the crews in as FCK and Holy up at the northern portion of zone. Only time will tell here, but currently as it is, as FCK, still a full 4-person team with 0 kills to their name. I would like to give this guy a shout out, Molly. Thank you for the bits that you donated in Twitch. Much appreciated, my guy.
Every bit's help, right?
That's right.
Every bit's help.
Donating to the Bits for Bots Foundation.
There we go. There we go. But speaking about it a little bit, right? It's going to be up to the players there from Asfrick. Just holding a very steady position. Holly's still going to be holding the high ground, but neither seems to be really looking to give up the position or look to really be too phased about bringing in another rotation. Meanwhile, up in Yasnaya, we can see things really starting to tighten up as it's now up to the players here from Zero Remorse. Keep pretty low on their health bars. Psycho's still looking pretty decent, but the rest of the team, they've taken a little bit of a beating here and a quick little, just a bit of a retreat, trying to get those health bars back. Could allow even more continuation with the aggression here.
Yeah, and as we can see, Twisted Minds has driven out of the frying pan into the fire, so to speak. As they drove away from their previous altercation, they now have sandwiched themselves in between Overhaul and Zero Remorse. It's not going to be an easy situation. All the while, off in the distance, we got Dauntless putting some work in on the crew in Redemption. Looks like this is an altercation that was in the works for a little bit of time now, and it's finally popping off. Tempo firing inbound with a 4x M4 aimed in at 831, actually doing some significant damage there, taking him down to half health. Will he be able to get the takedown? It would be a pretty tough go at this point.
But I think worth the effort though, because it does make it a little bit easier should they continue to kind of chase them down. There's already a little bit of a reduction with the available mets that could also play a factor in that. But looking at the positions being held up in towards Yasnaya, the players coming through from the side of Twisted Minds, right? I'm not quite sure what the play is going to be here, as they only seem to have 2 players left, or at least we can see 2 of them being situated relatively close to each other. The rest of the team, I now have my confirmation. Yes, there are only 2 of them left. It's a very difficult position, especially looking at the position that we have coming through from Detrimental on the one side. We got the players from Overhaul right there alongside them, and to add to that, Forsaken Gaming is also holding a position up into Yasnaya. So wherever these rotations are going to be going, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of that punishment coming through for it as well.
Yeah, they have definitely got themselves in a peanut butter and Scrooge sandwich here. It is not looking good. And on top of that, they are splitting up a little bit here. And I don't think that's the right move. I think their best bet is to either lay low or try to find some way to evacuate, but I don't know how that would be personally in this situation. It would not be easy. Their best bet, I guess, would be to try to bow out northwest, and that's, you know, with the advantage of us knowing where everyone is and still giving it our best guess. All the while, Overhaul aiming in at the boys in Game Over Forever. Overhaul at this point reduced down to Admiral and Admiral alone with 1 kill to his name. He's going to try to dip out of dodge here, and it is going to be a tough one here. All the while, Twisted Minds is facing off as we spoke. Well, maybe it isn't Twisted Minds. It's going to be definitely the boys in Holy, which at this point is reduced down to Sosa and Tokyo. Tokyo up at the forefront of it, trying to get some smoke cover on his fallen teammates, potentially to stick off some revives. We'll see if he can actually pull it off.
But I mean, it's such a difficult area to fight in. I mean, these city finishers leave so many vulnerabilities open to anybody in the vicinity. So it's already quite a bit of a challenge for the players there from Holy to try and now tend to their wounded to get themselves back into a fighting chance. But as we can see now, looking at the players coming through from Zero Remorse, right? It's going to be Selfish, caught in a little bit of a sticky spot. Yes, they're trying to send the nades up into Twisted Minds, but it is a great exchange now coming in. Zero Remorse looking for a few of those openings, but Twisted Minds not going to allow them really to catch up, as we can see a quick reposition now coming through there from Twisted Minds.
Yeah, and this is going to be keeping Zero Remorse on their toes, but look at them. Very strong position. 6 kills to their name. Still a full 4-person squad. They are not looking bad right now. All the while, Masato's finishing off a little bit of an altercation as well, from a split up approaches, no less. But we got to switch over briefly to the As FCK crew, potentially going to get their first takedown on Bope Esports, but all for naught. Bope comes through and annihilates.
Yeah, that one's got to sting quite a bit as they now get taken right on down. I mean, we did see the performance coming through from the players there from Asfric last week as well. Gotta say, some of the plays were pretty impressive, but it does seem like they're off to a little bit of a bumpy start, at least within this very first match. So I'm hoping for those improvements to come through as we move over in towards Miramar and Sanok a little bit later on. But for now, we are down to only 11 remaining teams, 32 players still left to try and duke it out to see who's going to be the one to walk away with that winner chicken dinner. And I mean, this whole entirety of the southern edge of zone is just jam-packed with players all over the place.
Yeah, we got the crew in Game Over Forever working their way in, traveling northbound into the southern end of zone, where they're going to have to face off potentially against Twisted Minds as well as the crew in Zero Remorse. We see Jimbo firing inbound at Buzz OP from Zero Remorse with a 4x DP28, not getting any connecting damage, trying to cook up a utility here inbound. I'm going to see if he can make it rain hellfire on him. We'll see if it's any luck. No such connecting damage there. Kraken retaliating quickly from half health. Oh, and down he goes at the hands of Leo. Or SKR, pardon me. At the hands of SKR. Will it be a thirst? His teammate Royne trying to put a little bit of smoke cover down, but ends up taking a bit of damage as well. Brought down to half health, and here we go. No time to heal. He is quickly down. All right.
Wow. I mean, talk about quick. That was hella quick, right? It's just like driving around the corner, boop, 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 done and dusted. There we go. Thank you, ma'am. And now it is going to be the last potential play coming through for Selfish, but it is going to be a bit of an outnumbering play. We do see another trade coming through, getting the knock up into Kraken. So it does seem like Selfish, oh man, they were in the contention there, and with that, it is going to be that elimination coming down as Zero Remorse now also find themselves in quite a bit of a pickle, rather, down to, I think that's only 2 remaining players now for them.
Yeah. My apologies for not actually switching over to Jimbo in time, guys. I was trying to, and just didn't quite make it there in time. But we got the crew in Detrimental still in the clutches here of Dauntless. Dauntless kind of spread out here. We actually have just a huge cluster going on all at once. There's a takedown on Darren at the hands of Huanchi, filling in for Dauntless right now. Wow, lots of potential altercations in the mix here. Let's give credit to where credit is due. Game Over Forever. 8 kills to their name, spread out evenly across their participants. 2 kills per person. Everybody eats.
Yep, that's what you want to see. Want to see those numbers getting locked in. And now currently we do see the players there from Bope and Masatos being positioned up towards the north. A very, very kind of separated position coming through for them. But it is going to be a tough play between Masatos and the players here from Bope, looking to see who will be able to retain control of this region. Masatos coming in at a slight disadvantage, already having those reduced numbers. But Masatos and the players here from Bope very exposed up onto the very edge of zones. We can see a lot of those sprays coming through all the way from Yasnaya, but they are quite some distance ahead, and I do think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath as the team situated down south are going to start pushing forward up in towards the next phase.
And honestly, you know, as tough of a position as Bope and Masatos have, I'm not sure which is tougher, their position or everyone who's down in the compounds that has to work their way into zone, traveling northbound through that open field. After they leave that little safety of compound cover, they could be just left up for those who are on high ground to just wreck into. But that's all going to depend upon if the Bope Masatos altercation goes down before them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of potential plays to come through this, but you can see the teams now starting to drop like flies all over the place with that. It's going to be game over forever. Now reduced down to only Kraken, and well, Kraken is now in a very, very difficult play there. I mean, I do think that blue zone is going to come on through and just get a clean sweep on them. But speaking about the sweeps, right, it's going to be the players from Bope now trying to get to their edge of zone, kind of secured in. You see the players there from Dauntless on the approach with that redemption, also now feeling a little bit of that sting come through.
Yeah, we got Bape here coming in, trying to get a little bit of early real estate with what little cover is available. At this point, it's a boulder. He's got some utilities being cooked up for what remains of redemption, but not quite aimed in at where they're at. He's also got the crew of Dauntless on the other side here, keeping an eye on him, so he's going to have to put a little bit of smoke cover down. All the while, 831 tries to fire in. Luckily for him, the Dauntless crew inadvertently helps him out.
You know, you ain't gonna say no to a little bit of help coming in, regardless of where it comes from.
Yeah.
But now it is gonna be up to Babe continuing the efforts, trying to send those utilities across. As we can see, they're not really finding the point that they would have hoped for. But it is gonna be a little bit of an advancement coming through now from Redemption, as we can see 9K moving up, just trying to hunker up behind that concrete block. But the players here from Bope holding on to the reach. Up comes a nade in exchange now as 831 sends it in, finds a little bit of damage in towards Babe. But it's interesting enough to see the players from Dauntless not advancing forward.
Yeah, I think I was just about to bring a little bit of notice to that. I feel like Dauntless had a real opportunity to work their way in, especially while Bope was focused in on Redemption. And on top of that, Dauntless was firing nades left and right over to that little radio tower while no one was there. And immediately after, Redemption traveled to the radio tower and Dauntless did not throw them. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nicro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. Legend in desperate need of some heals, which he's able to get off in time. And look at, he just comes in and annihilates, Legend does.
Well, I mean, this is looking absolutely glorious, but this could be the clutch coming through for Legend now as well already. It is going to be the face of Bope sitting all the way up to 80 eliminations. Going to be looking to close up the last few as they find yet another one. Oh, but look at this play come through from Fuego, rushing into the smoke, tries to find it, and down they go. They lose as Dauntless walk away picking up the winner chicken dinner.
I honestly can't help but feel that might have been a bit of an error on Bope's part, maybe a little bit overextension, maybe, to say the least. But Dauntless still, regardless, both teams put up a great performance. Dauntless, great performance with 11 kills to their name. Almost half of those kills go to Pain alone. So that's a heavy book bag. Good effort to them. We'll see if they can keep that effort moving forward into Miramar. We got the crew in Bope grabbing second place and doing so with 8 kills. Not bad at all. Redemption securing third with 3. Game Over Forever in fourth with an impressive 11 kills as well. We got the Thirsty Island boys and girls in fifth with 6 kills. Zero Remorse grabbing 6th this time around with 8. The Misato's crew in 7th with 3, 2 of which came from Next. We got Detrimental in 8th place, and they're going to be taking that with 2 kills from T98K. Forsaken Gaming grabbing 9th this time around with 3. Coming in 10th, it's going to be the boys in Holy with 6 kills. After that, we got Twisted Minds grabbing 11th with 4 kills between D and Xavier. As FCK grabbing 12th this time around, but with a big fat onion for kills. Coming in 13th is going to be Overhaul with 1 kill from Admiral. The crew in Exclusive, let me make sure that this is correct, or maybe it's not just a team with exclusive members. Yep, it's Exclusive, the team. In 14th with 0 kills. Max Split grabbing 15th with 0 as well. Coming in 16th, it's going to be Team Supreme with 1 kill from Fujin. 17th is going to belong to Aramata with 2 kills, 1 from 12 and 1 from Bright. 18th is going to go to the boys in Noobs Galaxy with 0 kills. And lastly, 1D in 19th with 0 as well. Well, that was a crazy, insane first match. Tons of action pretty much right from the get-go. But guys, this is just the first map, Erangel. And this is the map that everyone should be most acquainted with. But I'm curious to see how our participants are going to handle things as we move to the wide open desert. I am, of course, talking about Miramar. Guys, please do stick around. We're going to be back with round 2 of our 3-round scrim night in about 8 to 10 minutes. This is the Knights Community Tournament Qualifiers. Stick around. We'll be back soon. Redemption surrounding him on multiple sides. We've seen this numerous times throughout the last week's qualifiers and even yesterday, this kind of split up approach where they kind of surround and constrict upon their opponents here. And there's a great takedown by Hypercedo onto 1804 with a 3x Scarel combo. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nicro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. Legend in desperate need of some heals, which he's able to get off in time. And look at, he just comes in and annihilates, Legend does.
Well, I mean,
uncomfortable position for themselves. We can see Jordan here cooking up some utilities here, aimed in at 12 and beautifully thrown.
I mean, that was a Jordan throw, right? That is exactly what it was. pinpoint accuracy, hitting hitting the shot right there. And now it is going to be a bit of a continuation on that. It is going to be
on Redemption. And on top of that, Dauntless was firing nades left and right over to that little radio tower while no one was there. And immediately after, Redemption traveled to the radio tower and Dauntless did not throw him. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nitro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. That open field, after they leave that little safety of compound cover, they could be just left up for those who are on high ground to just wreck into. But that's all going to depend upon if the Bope Masato's altercation goes down before them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of potential plays to come through this, but you can see the teams now be the final hopeful, and they are completely encircled by the opposition. So I'm not quite sure how much longer Dree's going to be able to survive in this current setup.
I mean, it's going to be a tough situation no matter what, but he does have that M249 squad wiper. He's going to have the bullets, you know, at least in his favor. But all for naught. He was just outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned.
So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to feign up the advances from first the island. Gold as they come rushing on forward, but it's going to be a beautiful spray to welcome them in. Confirmation gets pushed right on through. And Fujin now having such a difficult play at all. Now from Redemption, as we can see 9K moving up, just trying to hunker up behind that concrete block. But the players here from Bope holding on to the reach. Up comes a nade in exchange now as 831 sends it in, finds a little bit of damage into its Babe. But it's interesting enough to see the players from Dauntless not advancing forward.
Yeah, I think I was just about to, from half health, oh, and down he goes at the hands of Leo, or SKR, pardon me. At the hands of SKR. Will it be a thirst? His teammate, Royne, trying to put a little bit of smoke cover down, but ends up taking a bit of damage as well. Brought down to half health, and here we go. No time to heal, he is quickly down.
Elimination, the confirmation onto turn. But Jordan now going to be looking to just push up in, and it's going to be that rush coming through from Zero Remorse. We've seen a lot of aggression come from Zero Remorse in last week's performances, so I'm looking for them to continue on with that momentum as they now push on forward and just try to bring in a spread right quick with the reactions there, but it's not going to be so... Well, I mean, this is looking absolutely glorious, but this could be the clutch coming through the now as well already. It is going to be the pace of Bope sitting all the way up to 80 eliminations. Going to be looking to close up the last few as they find yet another one. Oh, but look at this play come through from Fuego, rushing into the smoke, tries to find it. And
with what little cover is available, at this point it's a boulder. He's got some utilities being cooked up for what remains of Redemption, but not quite aimed in at where they're at. He's also got the crew of Dauntless on the other side here, keeping an eye on him, so he's going to have to put a little bit of smoke cover down. All the while, 831 tries to fire in. Luckily for him, the Dauntless crew in the game, still a full 4-person squad. They are not looking bad right now. All the while, Masato's finishing off a little bit of an altercation as well. From a split up approach, no less. But we got to switch over briefly to the AsFCK crew, potentially going to get their first takedown on Bope Esports, but all for naught. Bope comes through, and for the last remaining member of Aramata, Bright, he could come in for a potential third party, but in doing so, he is likely going to be eliminated. The odds of him coming out of a 1v3 scenario, or a 1v2 even, against Forsaken Gaming is a lot slimmer, but he does get the takedown on turn. He aims in at Jordan, but no connecting damage.
Like it's respectable as well, because looking at what we have in that zone, a big chunk of that eastern side is going to be open for the taking. So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to feign up the advances from first the island. Gold as they come rushing on forward.
Onto 1804 with a 3x Scarrel combo.
Well, Masato's a very formidable team, but we can say a very similar thing about the best of the three from Redemption. And now I think it is down to a utilization of the positioning that these players have had, right? Masato's really finding some good sprays, as we can see. Hypersita now.
It's OP from Zero Remorse with a 4x TP28, not getting any connecting damage, trying to cook up a utility here inbound. We can see if he can make it rain hellfire on him. We'll see if it's any luck. No such connecting damage there. Kraken retaliating quickly from half health. Oh, and down he goes at the hands of Leo, or SKR, pardon me. With that wide of a flank, I'm going to say they're just dipping out.
Yeah,
and that's
seems to be them dipping out. Yeah,
understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. It's respectable as well, because looking at what we have in that zone, a big chunk of that eastern side is going to be open for the taking. So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about
in bracket, at least that's what happened last week. We'll see if lightning strikes twice.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that we see that playing out once again. But for the meantime, we're going to be waiting to see where the teams are going to be looking to rotate up in towards the players there from Dauntless. Also going to be opting for a little bit more of a push, heading up towards that.
Too much as I see a guy hiding in a bush as I say that, but they are fairly confrontational and thrive on aggressive gameplay for the most part. So I don't think that they are in a very uncomfortable position for themselves. We can see Jordan here cooking up some utilities here, aimed in at 12 and beautifully thrown on Redemption, surrounding him on multiple sides. We've seen this numerous times throughout the last week's qualifiers and even yesterday, this kind of split up approach where they kind of surround and constrict upon their opponents here. And there's a great takedown by Hypercedo onto 1804 with a 3x Scarel combo. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nitro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. Legend in desperate need of some heals, which he's able to get off in time. And look at, he just comes in and annihilates, Legend does.
Wow, I mean,
uncomfortable position for themselves. We can see Jordan here cooking up some utilities here, aimed in at 12 and beautifully thrown.
I mean, that was a Jordan throw, right? That is exactly what it was. Pinpoint accuracy, hitting the shot right there. And now it is going to be a bit of a continuation on that. It is going to be
on Redemption. And on top of that, Dauntless was firing nades left and right over to that little radio tower while no one was there. And immediately after, Redemption traveled to the radio tower and Dauntless did not throw him. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nitro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. That open field, after they leave that little safety of compound cover, they could be just left up for those who are on high ground to just wreck into. But that's all going to depend upon if the Bope Masato's altercation goes down before them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of potential plays to come through this, because you can see the teams now be the final hopeful, and they are completely encircled by the opposition. So I'm not quite sure how much longer Dree's going to be able to survive in this current setup.
I mean, it's going to be a tough situation no matter what, but he does have that M249 squad wiper. He's going to have bullets, you know, at least in his favor. But all for naught, he was just outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned.
So I can't really fault that sensation coming through. But speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to fend off the advances from Thirsty Island Gold as they come rushing on forward. But it's going to be a beautiful spray to welcome them in. Confirmation gets pushed right on through. And Fujin now having such a difficult play and all. Now from Redemption, as we can see 9K moving up, just trying to hunker up behind that concrete block. But the players here from Bope holding on to the reach. Up comes the nade in exchange now as 831 sends it in, finds a little bit of damage into its Babe. But it's interesting enough to see the players from Dauntless not advancing forward.
Yeah, I think I was just about to, from half health, and down he goes at the hands of Leo, or SKR, pardon me. At the hands of SKR. Will it be a thirst? His teammate Royan trying to put a little bit of smoke cover down, but ends up taking a bit of damage as well. Brought down to half health, and here we go. No time to heal, he is quickly down.
Elimination, the confirmation on to turn. But Jordan now going to be looking to just push up in, and it's going to be that rush coming through from Zero Remorse. We've seen a lot of aggression come from Zero Remorse in last week's performances, so I'm looking for them to continue on with that momentum as they now push on forward and just try to bring in a spray. Right click with the reaction there, but it's not going to be so... Wow, I mean, this is looking absolutely glorious, but this could be the clutch coming through for Legend now as well already. It is going to be the face of Bope sitting all the way up to 80 eliminations. Going to be looking to close up the last few as they find yet another one. Oh, but look at this play come through from Fuego, rushing into the smoke, tries to find it. And
with what little cover is available, at this point it's a boulder. He's got some utilities being cooked up for what remains of Redemption, but not quite aimed in at where they're at. He's also got the crew of Dauntless on the other side here, keeping an eye on him, so he's going to have to put a little bit of smoke cover down. All the while, 831 tries to fire in. Luckily for him, the Dauntless crew in a game, still a full 4-person squad. They are not looking bad right now. All the while, Masato's finishing off a little bit of an altercation as well from a split up approach, no less. But we got to switch over briefly to the AsFCK crew, potentially going to get their first takedown on Bope Esports, but all for naught. Bope comes through, and for the last remaining member of Aramata, Bright, he could come in for a potential third party, but in doing so, he is likely going to be eliminated. The odds of him coming out of a 1v3 scenario, or a 1v2 even. Alrighty, what's cracking? What's cracking? What is cracking? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to, of course, round 2 of the Knights Community Tournament Qualifiers for Group 2. And before we do anything, my main man DK has done us the honor and graces of doing live scoring here, so let's go have a look-see at where we're standing. We currently have Dauntless in a strong first place lead here with 26 points. Bope in second with 20, just barely at their heels is Game Over Forever in third with 19. Coming in fourth is going to be the Crew in Redemption with 13. Thirsty Island in fifth with 12. Tied with Zero Remorse with 12. Seventh is Holy. 8th is Masato's, 9th is Twisted Mind, and 10th is Forsaken Gaming. Yeah, I'm going to let my main man DK do the discussions for the overall scores from this point on, just since he actually did all the trouble of doing that. And even theming it. He says it was coincidental. I don't buy it. But anyways, guys, what needs to be said about Miramar? It's basically the largest map that we have in the game. Essentially, Erangel is the same size, but that includes Erangel's bodies of water. So realistically, this is the largest map that we have in the game, meaning that the odds of two teams landing next to each other is just going to be a little bit smaller. But it's also the most open map that we have in the game, meaning the odds of you being sniped from 300 meters away is just going to be exponentially higher. And the third and final thing, which I have just recently revised my stance on it, as DK has put me in line here, but I'll say the map is so large that you can find it pretty much entirely reliant upon the flight path to determine what sort of early game we end up getting, with exception for those who are jumping out looking for vehicles and to drive off into the distance. But we do have some potential close altercations already in the works, and we have a fairly central flight path as well. But I'm right away noticing Max Split. Sorry, bro. Max Split just above the Crew in Game Over Forever. And they're not too far off from Hypercetos or Noob's Galaxy. Looks like Noobs is going to be dropping down south with 2 members of Misato's at the coastal edges. Further northbound, we can see that 1D, who had a very rough start in match 1, looking to kind of make up for it come match 2 and 3. They're going to be dropping over the Hacienda area, and I think they're going to be avoiding it as Aramada seems to be dropping in there already. We got the Crew in exclusive claiming La Cobriria, and they're not going to have anyone around to contest that with. Look at the zone, not really favoring anyone from that flight path, but as you can see, a few teams already claiming position. We see Overhaul Esports in the midst of detrimental, a little bit spread out here, and that's okay in a 2-2 split at times. But as we've said, it does leave for certain moments of vulnerability, so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I'm going to switch my attention over to Max Split to start things off with. Nope, no, I'm not. We're going to go over to Zero Remorse, actually. I withdraw that statement. We're going to check in on Zero Remorse and Bope Esports.
Yep, that's where we want to be. Already saw the first little bit of action coming through. Zero Remorse already sitting with 1 elimination under their belt, and that at the expense of the players there from Bope. But I'm loving the highly contested and congested play that we have coming through here, right? So many teams dropping down in such close proximity, which is really outside the norm of what we normally see coming through over on Miramar itself. I do think it's going to start dissolving a little bit as we progress further through this first initial stage. But what a great way to kick it off, though. The team's really having that opportunity to try and, pick up a few early game eliminations, while they're at it.
Yeah, I agree. You don't usually... I'll say it definitely doesn't fit in the norm of having multiple close altercations right off the bat of a Miramar match, and that's just due to the sheer size, that 8x8 nature of Miramar. But here we see it. Zero Remorse has had the same idea as Bope, and Max Split, Masato's, and Game Over Forever all kind of dropping around that same boundary area. El Pozo with a close contestation between Dauntless and members of SP. Oh, we already got some action here. Selfish is taken down at the hands of Bope. Psycho going to try to put a little bit of cover down there. Ooh, Fuego holding position here. Little high ground does do some amazing damage there to Buzz. Tries to finish the job. Oh, it's his teammate Bape to do it.
Yeah, Fuego really trying to kill the Buzz right there. And, maybe they might succeed in doing exactly that as the players from Zero Remorse now just have to try and quickly patch themselves up. But up comes such a beautiful rush now. A full send potentially even from the players here of Bope. They are out for blood, right? They want this. They want to try and see if they can lock this one in. Already we know from what we saw in that first match that they've been able to secure themselves up into second place with 20 points overall. but this could be a continuation of that, right? It seems like they are super eager to succeed. Oh, Fuego now just dodging the flames, so the name being super fitting on that one. But I'm not quite sure what the players here from Dope are going to be doing, because it seemed like they were rushing forward, but now they're starting to back up just a little bit.
I was just going to say, you know, they got that knock, and there was the smell of blood in the water from that point on, and they advanced, but it looks like, yeah, you're right. They did hesitate. They made it all the way up, made the journey up, and then seemed a little bit hesitant to make that final push, and I think that ended up to their detriment, especially against a super aggressive team like Zero Remorse, and yep, that's why they were just able to pick Fuego apart at that point. And Zero Remorse securing their very first 4 kills of the game, already on the board, looking pretty strong.
Yeah, that's halfway to what they had in the previous match. And speaking about that, I mean, the players coming through here, not having even the opportunity to get out of the vehicle. Instead, they are helped out of that as Overhaul now feels the pressure come through. It is down to Admiral. Oh, no, it's only down to Giant, who is now trying to contest, moving up the staircase. Oh, but down they go. What a beautiful spray that was, and detrimental, being super detrimental to the player there, to the players from Overhaul.
I was just gonna say, that's the understatement of the year right there. That's a pretty fitting name. And Detrimental comes out very victorious there, securing 5 kills to their name at this point. So they apparently were able to take out someone from another crew as well. All the while, we see Max Split. Who is it for Max Split? It's going to be Pinda Boy up in the clutches here with Noob's Galaxy.
Ooh. I mean, that's a pretty close place, especially looking at the positioning coming through between both these teams. But maybe this could be the rise of the players from Max Split. As we know, previous match, they got sent back, no placement points, no eliminations. And now, I mean, I kind of appreciated the fact here that Pinda Boy is actually starting to move back to the team, right? There is a little bit more safety in numbers, or at least when the team's a little bit closer. That separation, especially when you're trying to chase a few placement points or eliminations, you want to try and, you know, have as many weapons you can pointing at the same direction.
Yeah, I agree with you, DK. I was going to say, you know, it seemed like Max Split kind of put a little bit too much all in round 1 and kind of faced a pretty early consequence of it. And so I think that they need to dial things back. Remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and they got to be in here for the long haul, which is not just kills. It's going to be placement as well, playing a huge factor. And if they want any shot at advancing at this point without having put up any points in round 1, they're going to need to put up exceptional performances in the next 2 matches. So I think that they have the right idea. Perhaps maybe the route for them is to kind of wait for a more in-game approach before they get to engaging too much.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a little bit of a mindfulness that needs to be had here, right? Sometimes the strategy works of just coming in, rushing in blindly, and trying to overpower whoever's up ahead of you. But looking at the caliber of gameplay that we've been seeing so far, I don't think that's going to be a very viable approach for teams to be taking here, right? You want to see those calculated and tactful positional and strategic plays being utilized from teams instead of a little bit of a blind rush.
And it's especially, even more so on a map like Miramar. Well, I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. And, you know, when the map is this open, leaving this many susceptible open areas as Miramar does, it's more going to rely on a distance-intensive, sniper-intensive kind of combat. That close-quarter combat can find its place in Erangel and certainly thrives more on a map like Sandhawk. But on Miramar, you find himself super vulnerable. But look at Jordan. Actually, it wasn't Jordan. It was his teammate, Scrims, who got a beautiful takedown there on a 1D member. 1D having another rough go of it. But look, if Karma is not filing down on Forsaken Gaming as they're being third-partied by the crew in Aramata here, as Turn is taken down, Scrims trying to provide a little overwatch and cover fire up against 1D, but he's still leaving himself vulnerable to Aramata on the side. His team could be picked on.
Great reach nonetheless coming through. I mean, Scrims just hitting those shots one after the other, trying to pick up a little bit of that initial damage. Also now quickly disposing of that vehicle that the players there from 1D had to try and utilize. But I ideally want to see from the rest of the players coming through now from Forsaken Gaming, right, to also put a little bit of focus on the team that we can see situated right alongside them. But there could still be a little bit of a saving play coming through there, right? You see Bane actually moving in between his teammates and the players situated right behind them. So that's maybe a little bit of a pincer play coming through.
Yeah, and Forsaken Gaming does have the luxury of a little bit of compound cover. So, given the right position, maybe they could find an angle on one side of the building to focus in on a singular team. That's probably going to not be the case, however, with 1D not being that much on high ground. However, let me see. Let me have a look-see at where Aramata is. Aramata also not really... Well, I take that back. Bright is utilizing high ground, but aside from Bright, not a lot of players utilizing high ground. So I do think that that in this case, that's going to leave the Forsaken Gaming in a bit of a pickle as they can be shot from both angles. We got what's his name being taken down there, leaving things in the hand of Heim, Retired, and Gunho. And I do apologize for saying what's his name. I just cannot read that language. So if anyone knows how to say it in chat, please let me know. But here's the Rock. It doesn't matter what your name is. All right. No time to waste. We got Detrimental pretty darn close in the clutches of Noob's Galaxy. And yep, that's Diamonds getting a takedown on Gob.
Ooh. I mean, great plays now. Ooh, Detrimental taking a little bit of damage here. It is going to be a little bit of a sneak around, trying to see if they can find a way up against Noob's Galaxy. But I'm loving the position that we see currently held by Noob's Galaxy, right? The elevated position, just so favorable in this current situation. But I mean, I'm still looking to see what Detrimental are going to be looking to play at here. Maybe we could see a few of those body hits actually connecting on through, and that could be putting quite a bit of a dent into the place there from Noob's Galaxy.
Yes, you're right. I don't want to give too much focus to just one team alone here. I want to get a quick brief eye here on the crew in Supreme. It looks like they were facing off against Exclusive Esports, and they have a nice little spread here on the crew in Exclusive. Let me check in on their opposition, see how they're looking in terms of knocked members. No knocked members. One actually out, leaving things in the hands of Derek's, Virtus, and Jonathan. It looks like Derek's might have been taken down, but was quickly revived. And the most practical solution is obviously to drive an exotic sports car through the desert.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't see why more people don't do it IRL, right? It makes so much sense, especially if you go flying like Jonathan just did. I mean, it's already designed with aerodynamics in mind, right? So, I mean, that's why it just like glides along. I think that could be one of the fastest ways to get across the desert.
Yeah, it's really just in reality, it's like a $400,000 car. I mean, if you are an esports gamer, you doubtlessly have that kind of change lying around and can afford multiple sports cars. So I think, it's the right move for sure. And we're going to go ahead and switch our attention potentially southbound back to the task at hand that we were previously watching with the NG crew having the high ground. This is Noob's Galaxy having high ground here over Detrimental, and it looks like Jareen has taken a little bit of a sneaky approach, utilizing that punch glitch to mute his footsteps as he creeps closer and closer to the boys in Detrimental.
I mean, that was super close. I'm loving the trigger discipline coming through here. If it was me, I would have fired those shots, and that would have been the end of my team right then and there. But you can see these players, they know a little bit better, right? They are not going to be jumping like a little nervous twitch at any opportunity they get to try and lay waste to someone. Instead, a lot more calculation is going to be had here. And of course, this is going to be the play now for Detrimental to just try and bring a little bit of separation with their own position. Looking to see if they can maybe duck back into the safety of the zone. But it's going to be the plays here from Game Over now, trying to maybe find a few of those trades. But now they need to be careful, because that could also then lure in the players there from Noob's Galaxy, who we saw being positioned not too far away from them.
Yeah, and give, Game Over a little bit of credit here. They ended up, Noobs shouldn't be attacking Game Over forever, because Game Over just saved Noobs potentially from a rough call there, as they ended up taking Detrimental down while Detrimental was aiming in at the Noobs. So, inadvertently helping out their opponent. But in this case, it worked out for the Noobs. And so for now, we are going to potentially have to check out Aramata and Forsaken Gaming. Oh, maybe not. It looks like as FCK is going to be engaging with the boys in Detrimental right here and now. Detrimental gets no breaks.
No. I mean, these rotations super tough. But look at the sprays they're coming in. Oh. T98 getting hit in the back of the head there. And with that, it is down to the final hope for now. And this is where, I mean, it's going to be such a tough play. Yes, we see the players there from Asfrick right alongside them, but I'm expecting that push to come through now from the players of or AF.
Yeah, and I wish I had my goat green screen thing on this scene. I have a scene where it's just a goat eating grass, but it's wasted right now. Goat, the player, is taking a lot of damage, shot down to about 20% of his overall health with only 4 bandies to his name and 1 boost. And oh, time is of the essence here as FCK creeps ever closer and closer. Toxic at the forefront of that push. We see off in the distance, Zero Remorse Buzz doing what he does best and utilizing those nades. But speaking of nades, Goat is down and outed right there at the hands. Oh.
Yep. Indeed, at the hands.
Sorry, guys. When the action just gets that thick, I didn't want to start saying something and lose train of focus as Zero Remorse is being wrecked into, reduced down to a 2-person team with only Selfish here at the forefront with Redemption, and he is quickly picked apart there and leaving everything in the hands of SKR, who's actually a decent ways out of the thicket and out of the trouble. Now, this split often as disadvantageous as it can be, in this case is going to be definitely working in Zero Remorse's favor, as SKR is going to be able to get a little bit more placement points for his team in this situation. And take note that Zero Remorse already has 5 kills to their name, so at this point, laying low is probably the best move for him.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I mean, there's not a lot of hope left for that potential play out, but I mean, the solos can still accomplish quite a bit by just laying low, sneaking their way from zone to zone, phase to phase. And you know, we've actually seen this happen before, where there's quite a bit of a change up coming through once we get down to these solos, managing to just evade the majority of the chaos. But I mean, there's still 16 teams alive, 49 players. So if I'm being realistic, I don't see that really panning out. Not looking at well, taking a big look, of course, at the positioning of the teams moving into this next phase.
Yeah, and it looks like Masato's, we got is it Hypercedo? Yep, Hypercedo seeming to get closer and closer to the crew in Team Supreme. I'm guessing he is out for blood here. Aiming in with a 4x M4 towards Jester's end. He's going to have to keep an eye out as Tasty could claim a different angle on him, but it looks like Team Supreme is not caught off guard even for a second as they rain hellfire down towards Hypercedo's way. Tasty taking a little bit of damage off in the distance, brought down to 2/3 of his overall health. Hypercedo trying to retaliate with some nades of his own. I actually thought, I thought that connected too. I saw that kill feed thing and I was like, that had to be it. Dauntless going off in the distance, and I want to catch eyes on them just because, oh, you guys, you want to know something? Dauntless entered, let me double check this. Dauntless, the winners of round 1, correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Entered round 2 as a 2-person team. Now, if you are acquainted with the rules, I'm going to have to double check on if this is the exact same policy as my own event, but this event scoring was themed after my own event, in which case 2-people teams are not scored. You need at least 3 people on your team to be scored. So that would be a huge blow to them. And either way, I don't think that they would have been able to put up a point being eliminated this early with 0 kills. So that's a rough go for Dauntless, but it evens the playing field out for a lot of other teams.
It does indeed.
Masato's here in the mix with the remnants of Zero Remorse, which at this point is SKR, and here we go. Taste somehow catching ears.
Ooh!
I want to get it
I
from
was just
SKR's
about to say,
perspective. Yeah, come on!
I was about to say, yeah. SKR is not scared of any pushes, and we can see beautiful Jay coming in. Come on! Oh!
You almost were rooting for the underdog scenario right there after you got that first one. All the while, exclusive firing over at Game Over Forever. We see Derek's aimed in with a 3x M4. Not getting the connecting damage he was hoping for. All the while, Masato's not far off on one side, Max Split on the other, and he's focusing in on Game Over Forever.
Yeah, very, very spread focus coming through here, but I mean, Max Split, they have a bit of a potential play to make. I'm not quite sure what exactly it is, but they have 4 eliminations, they have 4 players. They grouped up super close together, but this could be quite the powerful procedure now for them, from their side, right? As we can see, they're trying to just move through this Montero region, focusing a little bit of the effort across the way, trying to see if they can land those hits up into this Team Supreme. But they are still left to try and deal with the players coming through from Exclusive, who we have standing between them and that position moving into zone.
Ooh, there's a takedown on Tasty right there. Off in the distance, 1D trying to put their name back on the board here. Still hanging in there. Looks like the crew in Team Supreme is down to their last remaining member, Jester. He's going to try to stick a revive on his fallen teammate, Kaloa. All the while, Holy just creeping up on him here. That little bit of smoke cover might not be enough. Jester's still trying to stick that revive and does so successfully. Luckily, his knock on the Holy members has bought him a little bit of time. But I'm going to... Well, no, I'm not going to switch over. I was going to switch over to 1D to see what they're up to now, but no, we got too much action right here. Ooh, Kalua.
All right, let's see. This could be the play. This could be the play, though.
Jester getting a takedown, and Kalua pushes up with that UMP in hand, but 2-on-1 there, leaving everything in the hands of Jester, who's below half health, trying to get a first aid off desperately in time, does get it off somehow. Ooh!
Such a tough sort of events coming through. And of course, now we jump straight across over to the players here from Masato's. You see Hypercito and Tis, the final two hopefuls left, but it is going to be Hypercito get taken down. And with that, Masato's also now having to make their way on back. An absolute detrimental play. But I mean, 3 players up, such a fully packed zone. No surprise really to see that kind of playing out. And with that, we see the players from the Holly also now having to pack their bags and make their way on back.
Yeah, at this point, guys, we are down to 10 teams spread across 27 people here. Our closest altercation is obviously going to be southbound with the Game Over boys doing some work inbound on AF. I actually thought that there was someone on them, but I guess I was incorrect. They are firing off in the distance over at AF. Doing... I didn't see any damage dealt there, but at least keeping them on their toes, to say the least. Oh, here we go. Max Split is facing off against Exclusive northbound here. Pindaboy trying to stick more revives once again. All the while, Exclusive creeping inward on him. Pinda, he gave it an effort as best as possible, but ultimately outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, leaving everything in the hands of Fatty Boy, who's trying to free fire with that UMP. Does get the takedown. Shot down to half health, exactly. Can he clutch this? That was his opportunity to right there and then. Unfortunately, his shots were just a millisecond too late there. And he is out of first aids, unfortunately, with very little health to speak of.
Yeah, and there's no opportunity for any blue zone plays to come in. Oh, up comes the heads, and it is going to be Exclusive Esports to lay down, now pushing up to 4 eliminations. Meanwhile, the players coming through from Forsaken Gaming are going to get hit on the edge as well. So much of a continuation coming in, and with that, it is going to be the Thirsty Island Gold team to just obliterate them down to the final 6 hopeful teams. We go now and look at this. It is going to be 9K just laying waste. Oh,
and he secured all those thirsts.
Clutch.
He secures all those thirsts there before Fury's able to get him. That is a tough one. If Fury had just shot a few seconds earlier, that would have been 3 less kills for his opponents. But too little, too late. And guys, we are down to our final 5 teams. It's going to be Exclusive, Thirsty Island, Aramata, AF, and Game Over Forever to end round 2. Game Over Forever looking pretty strong here as the only 3-piece remaining here. We got a 3v2, v1, v1, v1. A lot of solos here on the board. And if you're Virtus, I'm not sure you're paying attention to the map settings because the damage from the zone is increased. So if his plan is to hang back in the dead zone and let these numbers dwindle, it might not pan out so well. I think he may have been aware of it as he's trying to push his way forward, but all the while being held off at bay by Aramata's utilities. Oh!
Ooh. Wow. I mean, that was just in the nick of time. Fortunately for Virtus, that was also only a molly, right? So taking a little bit of damage there, But fortunately, they do have sufficient meds to get that health bar looking fantastic once again. But this is where Eramata is holding up right alongside them. And as you can see, 12 just hunkering down. We see Fury on the opposite end. But this is now the pace from Game Over, trying to push on forward. Kraken taking a little bit of damage, trying to set up that entry point coming into this next last little bit of a zone.
Yep, and Kraken somehow not taken down in the process. All the while, Vert is trying to retaliate on the 12 with some nades that are just a bit too far off. We got Roin Toss actually getting pretty close with this, but Vert is taken out at the hands of 12 ultimately. Oh, we got a Thirsty Island Boy down. We're down to one last Island Boy. It's Hoops, who is going to try to aim it at AF, but the play zone takes him out first. Hoops is eliminated right there and then. Aramata 12 up against a three-piece of Game Over Forever, and yeah, that was pretty much bound to happen at that point. Outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, as I love to say. Guys, that is game over for match 2. We have got to give it up. Game Over Forever, putting up a phenomenal performance. 8 kills between 3 players. Nicely done. Aramata going to grab the silver in second place with 2 kills between 12s and 12s. We got Thirsty Island Gold in third place, taking it with 7 kills. The As FCK boys grabbing fourth with 3. Exclusive going to come in 5th with 4 kills, 3 of which are from Virtus. We got the Crew and Redemption coming in 6th with 8 kills, and 6 of those 8s are from 9K alone. The boys in Forsaken Gaming grabbing 7th this time around, surprisingly enough with only 1 kill. As I said, that's a pretty aggressive team, so I usually see them being fairly kill intensive there. So it's interesting to see that they made it all the way to 7th with only 1 kill. But I'm interested to see how they're going to move things over into the close quarter combat map like Sandhawk. I think they're going to really shine there. We got Max Split in 8th place with 7. Coming in 9th, it is going to be NG. I always tend to forget NG. It's the Noobs Galaxy, and they're going to take that with 1 kill from Ronnie. We got 1D securing 10th this time around with 1 kill from Gunho. Coming in 11th, it's going to be the boys in Holy with 3. Masato's operating as a 3-piece this time around, securing 12th with 3 kills, 1 per person everybody eats. Team Supreme in 13th with 4, half of which go to Jester. Zero Remorse having a tough go of it this time around, grabbing 14th with 5 kills, 3 of which are from Buzz OP. We got Twisted Minds in 15th, but with 0 kills to speak of. The 2-piece of Dauntless, while they do have 1 kill to their name, I wasn't aware of that beforehand, that 1 kill will very likely not count. I'm pretty sure that the same scoring goes as to my own event, so if that is the case, you guys have to read the rules. Anyways, we got the Detrimental boys coming in 17th with 4 kills between Goat and Noob. Overhaul in 18th, but with 0 kills to speak of. And keeping that trend up, 19th is going to go to Bope with a big fat onion as well. DK, what are your thoughts, my man?
I mean, a pretty surprising play coming through there from the Game Over Forever. But what a great way to just capitalize on that zone, pushing in, stealing that winner chicken dinner. I mean, they moved in, and they were in fact the only team to move in with the higher numbers coming in. I'm not quite sure how Kraken was able to evade getting knocked right on that road. I mean, it's the Kraken after all, right? So there's some mystical things happening right there. But a very satisfying performance coming through from the teams here. But I gotta say, this time around, not the craziest amount of eliminations. Yes, we did see the players from Redemption picking up 8, and of course then the players there from Max Split finishing on 7, as well as the Thirsty Island Gold team also finishing on 7. But aside from that, I mean, it's looking relatively decent, right? A good spread with eliminations across the board.
And I'm really glad you brought up Kraken, because when that was going on in the match, I was going to mean to say, like, he has got Roadrunner luck. When I mean Roadrunner luck, I mean, you know, like Wile E. Coyote putting anvils down and them falling right next to him. He took nade damage, shot damage, and then another utility on him, and was still had 25% of his health left when both utilities looked like they hit perfect. That was luck that you do not see often. So yeah, I think that might have been one of those 1 in a million shots right there, but it was cool to see either way. But guys, moving forward, we've seen how our players handle the wide open map of Miramar now. We've seen how they handled the very first map ever, Erangel, but I'm curious as to how they're going to handle it when we take things to the lush condensed forest. I am, of course, talking about Sandhawk. We will be back in about 8 to 10 minutes with the third and final round of the day for the night's community tournament qualifiers for Group 2. Please stick around. We'll be back soon. Redemption, surrounding them on multiple sides. You've seen this, keeping them on their toes, to say the least. Oh, here we go. Max Split is facing off against Exclusive northbound here. Pindaboy trying to stick more revives once again. All the while, Exclusive creeping inward on him. Pinda, he gave it an... Ooh!
Such a tough sort of events coming through. And of course, now we jump straight across over to the players here from Masatos. You see Hypercito and Tis, the final two hopefuls left, but it is going to be Hypercito get taken down.
Versus bought him a little bit of time, but I'm going to... Well, no, I'm not going to switch over. I was going to switch over to 1D to see what they're up to now, but no, we got too much action right here. Ooh, Kahlua.
All right, let's see. This could be the play. This could be the play, though.
Jester getting a takedown. Ooh!
Such a tough sort of events coming through. And of course, now we jump straight across over to the players here from Masatos. You see Hypercito and Tis, the final two down, are pushing up to 4 eliminations. Meanwhile, the players coming through from Forsaken Gaming are going to get hit on the edge. So much of a continuation coming in, and with that, it is going to be the Thirsty Island Gold team to just obliterate them down to the final 6 hopeful teams. We go now and look at this. It is going to be 9.
From half health. Oh, and down he goes at the hands of Leo. Or SKR, pardon me. At the hands of SKR. Will it be a thirst? His teammate, Royne, trying to put a little bit of smoke cover down, but ends up taking a bit of damage as well. Brought down to half health, and here we go. No time to heal. He is quickly down. With that wide of a flank, I'm going to say they're just dipping out.
Yeah.
And
that
that's
seems to be them dipping out. Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. It's respectable as well, because looking at what we have in that zone, a big chunk of that eastern side is going to be open for the taking. So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about...
And I think that ended up to their detriment, especially against a super aggressive team like Zero Remorse. And yep, that's why they were just able to pick Fuego apart at that point. And Zero Remorse securing their very first 4 kills of the game, already on the board, looking pretty strong.
Yeah, that's halfway to what they had in the previous match. And speaking
at the hands... Oh.
Yep. Indeed at the hands.
Sorry, guys. When the action just gets that thick, I didn't want to start saying something and lose train of focus as Zero Remorse is being wrecked into, reduced down to a 2-person team with only Selfish here at the forefront with Redemption, and he is quickly picked up. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nitro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. Legend in desperate need of some heals, which he's able to get off in time. And look at, he just comes in and annihilates, Legend does.
Wow, I mean, so I can't really fault that rotation coming through, but speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to feign off the advances from Thirsty Island Gold as they come rushing on forward, but it's going to be a beautiful spray to welcome them in. Confirmation gets pushed right on through, and Fujin now having such a difficult play and the final hopeful, and they are completely encircled by the opposition, so I'm not quite sure how much longer Dree's going to be able to survive in this current setup.
I mean, it's going to be a tough situation no matter what, but he does have that M249 squad wiper. He's going to have bullets, at least in his favor, but all for naught. He was just outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. Still a full 4-person squad. They are not looking bad right now. All the while, Masato's finishing off a little bit of an altercation as well. From a split up approaches, no less, but we got to switch over briefly to the AsFCK crew, potentially going to get their first takedown on both esports, but all for naught. Bope comes through and we already got some action here. Selfish is taken down at the hands of Bope. Psycho going to try to put a little bit of cover down there. Ooh, Fuego holding position here. A little high ground does do some amazing damage there to Buzz. Tries to finish the job. Oh, it's his teammate Bape to do it. They're leaving everything in the hands of Jester, who's below half health, trying to get a first aid off desperately in time. Does get it off somehow. Ooh! That was his opportunity to right there and then. Unfortunately, his shots were just a millisecond too late there. And he is out of first aids, unfortunately, with very little health to speak of.
Yeah, and there's no opportunity for any blue zone plays to come in.
In bracket. At least that's what happened last week. We'll see if lightning strikes twice.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that we see that playing out once again. But for the meantime, we're going to be waiting to see where the teams are going to be looking to rotate up in towards the players there from Dauntless. Also going to be opting for a little bit more of a push, heading up towards that. Yeah, that's halfway to what they had in the previous match. And speaking about that, I mean, the players can be through here, not having even the opportunity to get out of the vehicle. Instead, they are helped out of that. As Overhaul now feels the pressure come through. It is down to Admiral. Oh, no, it's only down to Giant, who is now trying to contest, moving up the staircase. Oh, into this next last little bit of a zone.
Yep, and Kraken somehow not taken down in the process. All the while, Vert is trying to retaliate on the 12 with some nades that are just a bit too far off. We got Roin Taz actually getting pretty close with this, but Vert is taken out at the hands of 12 ultimately. Oh, we got a Thirsty Island boy down.
Elimination, the confirmation onto turn. But Jordan now going to be looking to just push up in, and it's going to be that rush coming through from Zero Remorse. We've seen a lot of aggression come from Zero Remorse in last week's performances, so I'm looking for them to continue on with that momentum as they now push on forward and just try to bring in a spread right quick with the reaction there. But it's not going to be so like that. It's respectable as well, because looking at what we have in that zone, a big chunk of that eastern side is going to be open for the taking. So I can't really fault that rotation coming through. But speaking about difficult plays, right, this is now going to be up to the players from the side of Team Supreme, trying to feign off the advances from Thirsty Island Gold as they come rushing on forward.
Potentially have to check out Aramata and Forsaken Gaming. Oh, maybe not. It looks like as FCK is going to be engaging with the boys in Detrimental right here and now. Detrimental gets no breaks.
No, I mean, these rotations super tough, but look at the sprays though coming in. Oh. See, now from Redemption, as we can see 9K moving up, just trying to hunker up behind that concrete block. But the players here from Bope holding on to the reach. Up comes the nade in exchange now as 831 sends it in, finds a little bit of damage into its Babe. But it's interesting enough to see the players from Dauntless not advancing forward.
Yeah, I think I was just about to a second too late there. And he is out of first aids, unfortunately, with very little health to speak of.
Yeah, and there's no opportunity for any blue zone plays to come in. Oh, up comes the heads, and it is going to be exclusive esports to lay down, now pushing up to 4 eliminations. Meanwhile, the players coming through from Forsaken.
All the while, Vert is trying to retaliate on the 12 with some nades that are just a bit too far off. We got Roin Taz actually getting pretty close with this, but Vert is taken out at the hands of 12 ultimately. Oh, we got a Thirsty Island boy down. We're down to one last Island boy. It's Hoops, who is going to try to aim it at AF, but the play zone takes him out first for the last remaining member of Aramata. Bright, he could come in for a potential third party, but in doing so, he is likely going to be eliminated. The odds of him coming out of a 1v3 scenario, or a 1v2 even, against Forsaken Gaming is a lot slimmer, but he does get the takedown on turn. He aims in at Jordan, but no connecting damage.
Well, I mean, this is looking absolutely glorious, but this could be the clutch coming through for Legend now as well already. It is going to be the base of Smoke sitting all the way up to 80 eliminations. Going to be looking to close up the last few as they find yet another one. Oh, but look at this play come through from Fuego, rushing into the smoke, tries to find it, and
knock, and there was the smell of blood in the water from that point on, and they advanced. But it looks like, yeah, you're right, they did hesitate. They made it all the way up, made the journey up, and then seemed a little bit hesitant to make that final push, and I think that ended up to their detriment, especially against a super aggressive team like Zero Remorse. And yep, that's why they were just able to pick, all the while exclusive creeping inward on them. And he gave it an effort as best as possible, but ultimately outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, leaving everything in the hands of Fatty Boy, who's trying to free fire with that UMP. Does get the takedown back in the dead zone and let these numbers dwindle. It might not pan out so well. I think he may have been aware of it as he's trying to push his way forward, but all the while being held off at bay by Aramata's utilities. Oh!
Ooh. Wow, I mean, that was just in the nick of time. Fortunately for Virtus
on Redemption, and on top of that, Dauntless was firing nades left and right over to that little radio tower while no one was there. And immediately after, Redemption traveled to the radio tower and Dauntless did not throw him. But however, it looks like this nade might hit. It does do some good damage to Legend. Nitro is taken down as well, leaving things in the hands of Fuego and Legend themselves. Shot down to about 20% of his overall health with only 4 bandies to his name and 1 boost. And oh, time is of the essence here as FCK creeps ever closer and closer. Toxic at the forefront of that push. We see off in the distance, Zero or Morse Buzz doing what he does best and utilizing those nades. But speaking of nades, Goat is down. Switch over. I was going to switch over to 1D to see what they're up to now, but no, we got too much action right here. Ooh, Kahlua.
All right, let's see. This could be the play. This could be the play, though.
Jester getting a takedown, and Kahlua pushes up with that UMP in hand, but ooh, as I see a guy. Well, alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the hour is upon us. Everything has boiled down to this one last match to decide everything. That's right, everyone. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to our third and our final round of the night's community tournament qualifiers for Group 2. And you guessed it, we're going to be ending the night with a Sandhawk. Now, what do we need to say about Sandhawk? Basically the exact opposite of our last match. Miramar was our largest. This is our smallest map. Livik and Karakin are smaller, but we don't mess with those in scrims. This is the smallest we've got, meaning the odds of 2 teams landing next to each other is just automatically going to be a bit slimmer. But it's also the most condensed map that we have in the game. What do I mean when I say condensed? I mean it's most lush in vegetation. There's more natural cover to take, more grass to hide inside, and trees and boulders to hide behind. So you need to be alert for a higher than average number of snakes than usual. And the third and final thing, DK is so tired of hearing me do this spiel. Third and final thing I want to say is that the map is so small that it finds itself pretty independent of the flight path. You can get pretty much anywhere you want just by deploying your chute early enough. So that being said, bam, not a central flight path, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, I can almost say this in my sleep, right? I've only been hearing it for 2 weeks straight, so I mean, you know, it's nothing. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. Flight path, Sandhawk, you know, it doesn't matter. What's going to be more important is where these teams are going to be dropping down and also where that first initial zone is going to be forming. But also speaking about what is important, right, is the absolute runaway performance we've been seeing coming through from the players there from Game Over Forever, right? Currently, they're sitting up in pole position with 42 points to their name, 19 eliminations. That is the highest count for the day so far. So I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing as they progress through this match. But we also know that the players then from the Thirsty Island Gold team are on their heels, right? I wouldn't say they're hot on their heels, but they're on their heels. There's about a 13-point difference separating these 2 teams.
DK, thank you so much for reminding me. Guys, he went through all this effort and put up live scores for us, and I completely forgot to put them on the board. So let me go ahead and bring those up for you guys. We're going to have it down at a smaller portion. Doesn't need to be full size here. We'll make it a little bit smaller, actually, even. So the way we have it currently is, as he said, Game Over Forever, then Thirsty Island Gold holding second place here with 29 points, then Dauntless in third, even with that match that didn't count. We got Redemption in fourth with 25 points, only 1 point behind their opponent and ahead of them. And then Zero Remorse coming in 6th. Aramata in 7th. As FCK in 8th, Holy in 9th, and Exclusive in 10th. But as we do have a fight going on here, we are going to go ahead and not waste too much time here. Looks like Exclusive and Bope at each other's throats here. And Legend cooking up a utility with Jonathan's name on it. Oh!
He got the, ooh! Okay, well, that was Jonathan getting themselves with the... What? I mean, that is a little bit of a risk right there, but Legend has it. They step up, get that first trade. Now it is going to be Bape to step up and lock in Virtus. And this is where Darix now finds himself in a little bit of a troubling spot. We got Mystic also just in the distance, but this is going to be a full-out set coming through from both, as we saw. They're sitting in 5th place. Only a few points could change up their position quite a bit on those standings.
Yeah, everything's kind of riding here for them. Oh, taking some nade damage. Mystic is brought down to about 1/5 of his overall health, maybe even a little bit less. This is a 2v4. They're going to have to play this really smart. Derrick's is down, leaving his teammate Mystic to really have to make a split-second call here. Does he stay here and fight or try to make a break for it? And given the map, I would have said make a break for it. But now, at this point, too much time has passed. And his best bet, I guess, is what he's doing right now, hoping that maybe they'll assume.
Ooh.
Picked apart right there.
Yeah. That one stings a little bit, but we did see the players there from Eternal also now getting absolutely obliterated. So it's been a pretty crazy play coming in. But I mean, the team's not going to be wasting a single moment as they just keep on stepping up in such close succession.
Oh, Midnight down as well, leaving Holy in the hands of Baby Boo. Baby Boo is at half health, but still able to come in and do some work, and does get the finish on Zero Remorse. This is big. Zero Remorse at the start of this match held 8th place, so being eliminated that early on will very likely take them out of that top 10 contention.
Yeah. It's going to be a pretty tough road. I mean, Zero Remorse on 18 points in total. That was 6th place. I mean, it's all going to come down to what Eramata, Asfric, Holy, Exclusive Esports all have up their sleeves. And I'm also going to be looking at Masato's, right? They're also quite an aggressive team. So we can see them being situated all the way up towards that northern edge. And I'm thinking that they've got a strategy, or they've got a plan up their sleeve that they are going to be looking to play out as they get closer to those later few stages.
I think you're right. I think they're trying to pull a little bit more of an in-game approach here and get those placement points and survival points, and at least take out the risk of that early confrontation if possible, giving them that extra little boost. Because at this point, all they need is that little extra gap closed, and they might have a good shot. But all the while, we got Team Supreme doing work on the heavy hitters of today's qualifiers. The Game Over Forever boys. Game Over Forever down to a 3-piece as Lio is taken down, leaving things in the hands of Kraken, Jimbo, and Royns. Ooh, Royns actually might have a great opportunity to sneak up behind Jester here. And with that element of surprise, he's utilizing that punch glitch to mute his footsteps as he creeps ever closer. And his teammate Klua from Supreme is down by Foxalot. Or, excuse me, down by the opponents. Foxalot is his teammate. Whoops. And so this could be a really Roy's time to push up. And that's an opportunity wasted, in my opinion. But we'll see if his patience ends up paying off, as Tasty is getting closer and closer here. I don't think he wants...
Well, there's more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're looking to play a little bit more of that surviving. They want to play a little bit more, of a survival game instead of showing too much aggression just yet. And I guess it could probably be commendable. But we do see, however, the action continuing right here on the edge of zone as the players now from the side of Eramata actually just lay waste. And it is going to be a pretty devastating blow up into Holy as they also now have to pack up their bags and go.
Yeah. And I have someone in the Trovo chat saying, haha, you said the odds of them landing next to each other would be slimmer. Well, you caught me, sir. I gave my spiel and I messed up one of the words. All right? I got 95. No one gives me credit for the 95% of the words I get right. That should be what surprises you, not the 1% that I get wrong. The fact that I'm doing this well with it. Oh, Royns is taking a huge... This is huge for everyone else on the playing field. Because, as you said, Game Over Forever is by far the heavy contender here with a 13-point lead over second place Thirsty Island. So the fact that they were eliminated very early on, and with how many kills to their name? 0 kills to their name, absolutely could change the playing field here.
Yeah, they locked in on 42 points. Oh, look at that though. 12's now going to try and push it even further. As you can see, the players now from the side of Eramata, they're going to come in chasing, right? They want to try and see what they can bring in this final match. They came into this game sitting on 16 points. Already, they've been able to acquire 3 eliminations. We're down to our final 15 hopeful teams. So it could still take a swing in either direction.
With Admiral holding position way off, things are really in Giant's hands here up against the crew in Aramata, and Giant is down from the side as Bright does get a nice little high ground flank on him. No time to waste. We're going to switch over to Forsaken Gaming briefly just to see what's happening with them as they are in the mix with Twisted Minds. We got everything riding on scrims and U-turns. or pardon me, Turn. His name used to be U-Turn, I think. Well, he's down. Scrims is the last hope here with that UMP in hand. 5 first aids, but no time to use them. And wow, how did he make it switching rocks right there? Well,
well, that's how.
Yeah. And boom goes the dynamite. Well, we got a little tiny spread here on the board, which doesn't happen as often on Sandhawk, but it does happen from time to time. I'm going to switch my attention to 1D, just in case something happens between themselves and Max Split, who sits below them on the coastal. Oh, not even on the coast. Max Split is really doing this. The sneaky little water snake strat. And, you know, it might pay off for them. If they end up advancing to the top 10, everyone who hates on them for doing it is going to have to bite their words. But that leaves me curious as to where we should be tuning into for the time being. Maybe between a potential love triangle could be forming between Redemption, Twisted Minds, and the players in BOPE. Or something similar could happen for Admiral, the last remaining member for Overhaul Esports, as he's sandwiched in between Aramata and AF. But we do have a little bit of downtime here with this, and that's not exactly as to be expected, but same as with all the other matches, a more passive early game always directly translates to a more action-packed climactic mid or end game. All right, I think I heard shots being fired. True. Did I hear shots?
Yeah, I mean, there we go. There we go. I hear them too, even though my sound's off. I hear them.
You're hearing them with your heart. You listen with your heart, not your ears.
Yes.
We got Majomi in chat saying, go BOPE. Well, when BOPE gets back into the mix here, I will check things out for them. It looks like Jester has been eliminated from Team Supreme, bringing them down to a 2-person team of Tasty and Foxalot. And they've got a little bit of space between themselves and their opponents, but Tasty, in the brief second that I switched to map view, was clapped real quick by him. However, with that much distance between the two teams, the odds of them being able to secure the thirst at this point is going to be much slimmer, as they are able to take that boulder cover, excuse me. And I'm just surprised that we have this kind of spread right now. AF.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very wide spread.
It is. But you know what? Luckily for us, I sped up the zone closing, increased the zone damage, and lowered the time for the first zone by like 40 seconds. So we're going to keep that ball rolling either way, whether the participants are okay with that or not. Oh, here we go. Supreme Foxalot taking a little minimal damage realistically, and is going to be trying to get away from the clutches of Redemption, but they got to be careful as they drive away from one threat and potentially closer to another threat, which would be Dauntless. Dauntless currently hanging at 3rd overall, even including match 2 where they weren't scored, so they're looking pretty strong in that aspect. Oh, Foxalot, a man after my own heart with the VSS.
Going to be the play though. I mean, Redemption, they're going to be looking to push on in, hoping to find a few of those extra additional points. Not quite sure whether or not they'll be able to get them locked in. As you can see, it is going to be Team Supreme. They're just going to be continuing with their efforts, trying to escape and evade any of these potential sprays that could come through. You can see the players there from Dauntless right alongside them on the very edge. But so far, that southern position moving through, so you can see not just getting that entry into the zone itself. It is a relatively comfortable area to move into, right? It's not heavily contested or congested. They can actually sit back and just try and regroup themselves and come up with another strategy or game plan to move through the remaining phases.
This is an interesting situation here for the Thirsty Island crew. I apologize if this is who you were just talking about. I kind of zoned out preparing to talk about Thirsty Island. So if you were just talking about them, it's going to be a bit of repetition. But the fact that Thirsty Island is in this position now, they're holding 2nd place overall, but their main competition in Game Over Forever eliminated early on with 0 kills this time around. So realistically, they just lay low. I mean, they don't need a single kill to advance on further. So they got their eyes set on, you know, getting placement, maybe some kills here later on in the mix, but it's not necessary for them at this point. So they're in a very comfortable little safety bubble here come match 3.
Well, I mean, a safety bubble of 13 points they need to catch up to 1st place, right? So it's a little bit of a bubble. I mean, the ideal would be possibly 14 points. So if they want to add in a little bit of eliminations to just try and solidify that count, I would really recommend that play. But it's going to come down to how the zone is going to continue to progress on forward, and looking at their position up towards that northern edge, that could allow them to potentially sneak into the much, much later phases.
Yeah. I'm going to have to switch attention to Twisted Minds, who are finding themselves as kind of the center point of a love triangle between Noobs, or pardon me, the As FCK crew, Bope, and NG, the Noobs Galaxy. We had some people rooting for Bope in chat, so I'm going to switch my attention over to them. They're posted up, looking very strong. Full 4-person team with 5 kills to their name. We got Nicro in the distance with a 3x M4, trying to get a finishing knock onto Diamonds here. Legend with the crate package, or care package, in sight here, but it looks like it's not his main objective. One of the Boat boys it's Bape, way off down south, working on redemption from the sniper tower and somehow dodging that molly damage.
Another molly. Oh no, it's a rush coming through. Oh, but that is a nade, and down goes Bape.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't win them all, right? It's going to take so long until the damage eventually catches up with you. As now we look onto the rest of the team. Legend are very, very separated from the rest of the squad. As you can see, Nicros and Fuego actually now turning their focus onto the players there from Redemption. And actually, we did see yet another team actually now falling to, well, the craziness, the insanity.
Yeah, and that's something that can be expected when you reach the latter half of a standoff match, by all means. With it being such a clustered map, close quarter combat seems to be the name of the game when you reach the end. And so I'm not too surprised with as passive as an early game as we were left with, that we're seeing a lot of action coming in right away.
Yeah, so the previous team to fall was the players there from Team Supreme, going out in 14th place. But this is where things take a little bit more of an active shift, right? We can see the players from Asfrick holding the position over on towards the western side. We still see the players now from the side of Eramata moving in from the west as well. And on the opposite end, down south, it is still a continuation of pressure on towards Redemption. Bope not going to be backing out of that one just yet. So you can see Fuego and the squad sitting on 8 eliminations already, but there comes the hit now all the way through from Dauntless.
Yeah, and interesting timing. Dauntless just, you know, it's funny. They messaged me. They're like, hey, are we not banned? Because we're sorry we entered as a 2-piece. I'm like, you're not banned at all. And they come in, you know, honestly, with such a good position after not being scored for a match. It blows my mind. They're still holding 3rd place. And so, yeah, they should be feeling pretty comfortable right now, even with the 0 kills to their name and being a 3-piece. We see Jonchi here filling in from Wall Street Bets, trying to get in closer proximity to the crew and Detrimental. And just how close in proximity? This close. All the while, Noobs going off in the distance as they face off against Misatos. A little bit of high ground here for the Noobs. Jareen taking a lot of damage. They brought down to just above half health. Looks like Tasty is down. Next could be soon to follow, and that zone is chipping away at his health as he's about to learn here. This zone is not forgiving. And I designed it that way.
Also feeling... Detrimental also feeling a little bit of the pressure, as we can see the hit mark is starting to come on through. But with that, it's going to be the rush from Misatos. Now up to Hypercito, who's going to be opting for a little bit of that heal strat to try and secure a little bit more of that longevity. But the players then from the side of Max Split also feeling a little bit of the pressure as we now look onto the team all the way down south. Look at the jumps coming in, and with that, Dauntless lose yet another player. And
we got another heal strat as Faker is going to be hanging back with around 30 first aids, leaving everything in the hands of Tempa for this standoff between Detrimental and himself. And boy, that zone is creeping on in, and it is not going to be very forgiving, just eating away at his health. And even if you are in Detrimental, you could be facing a bit of trouble here. Tempa is down and outed right there and then, as to be expected in that situation. Taking notice that 1D has an interesting position here. Still a full 4-person squad just on the edge outside of zone with the potential to gatekeep the boys in Max Split.
Wow, Toxic also now getting taken right on down, and we just see absolute devastation being laid on through. Twisted Minds, if I'm not mistaken, also now having to pack their bags up and go. And this is where that kind of grip just starts tightening on the teams. You can see those tickers just going off already, now down to only 10 remaining teams. And it's going to be up to Blank now to try and see if they can maybe rush on forward. Does find a little bit of a spray onto its Diamonds, and that could potentially be in the bag now as they look to apply the pressure onto the Noobs Galaxy.
Yeah, and Thirsty Island is coming into their own. I love to see it. This is a team that's been, or at least an organization that's been, building up their synergy now for a little while, and it's just been getting better and better. And it's good to see Thirsty Island really dominating today as they came into this match in second place, now leading, not leading the board per se, but they're definitely holding up at the top of the remaining participants in this match with 3 members alive, 1 knocked admittedly, but things riding in the hands of Laz and Blank, and they hold 3 kills to their name. They're in a fairly strong position.
Yep. Yeah, really great position to be in. And I mean, they're going to be looking to bring in a little bit more domination, right? As we know, they started off this match all the way in second place, showing a real great amount of eliminations, already 13, now adding 3 more to it. And they're not done just yet as they're looking to close it up with Wizard. But as we can see, the players here from Noob Galaxy already on 5 eliminations in total as a team. But Wizard now going to try and make some magic happen. Will he find the hit onto Blank? No, Blank ducks back into the hard cover. 1D meanwhile will be sending a few utilities out. Up comes a repush from Blank. Wizard continues to take damage, and this could be that closure coming through from Thirsty Island Gold as the blue zone swoops up. This is going to be Wizard with no other option either to rush or to just take the damage coming through from the blue.
And off in the distance, 1D put in some work, all riding in the hands of Gun-Ho and Gun-Ho alone. His fallen teammate Cairo being revived as we speak, and I think he will be able to get this revive off in time. And boy, Gun-Ho, I withdraw that previous statement. Gun-Ho responsible for 80% of his team kills as he rushes in to a 1v3 scenario. He is outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. But give it up to 1D because honestly, they entered this match second to last place, but same as with last week, never gives up hope and always gives it their all the entirety of the qualifier, and I love that about them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's super important for the success of the team, right? It's not getting demotivated by whatever the results of the matches. Every time stepping up and trying their utmost to keep the contention high. As we now look on towards Gun-Ho, that is a pretty sneaky shot, but it's going to be a jump shot to follow on through in response. Just narrowly evading it, but will they succeed? Oh no, unfortunately they get taken right on down, and with that the winner chicken dinner goes to the players there from the Thirsty Island Gold team.
Yep. Honestly though, I gotta give him a little golf clap. It was a great effort on Gun-Ho's end for sure. I definitely like to see that persistency, especially in a situation where you are that much outnumbered. I thought he put up a pretty decent fight there towards the end and had the right idea by trying to utilize the corner of that compound. But it is not going to work out in his favor as Thirsty Island comes in first place, 7 kills between 3 players, and I'm not that's got to equal first place in them overall for this qualifier. It just has to. 1D grabbing second place with 5 kills, and as we said, Gun-Ho responsible for 80% of those kills. We got Max Split grabbing third place this time around with 5 kills. Fourth is going to be Noob Gaming with 5 as well, same spread as Max Split. We got Detrimental in 5th place with 4 kills, 3 of which came from Darren. The boys in Dauntless somehow scooched on through, even with that second match not being scored. 6th place this time around, even with 0 kills. I think it might be enough. Masatos in 7th with 0 as well. Aramata grabbing 8th with 5. Coming in 9th is going to be the Crew and Bope with 9 kills. Very nice. We got Redemption in 10th with 4 kills between 99 and 9K. We got Twisted Minds grabbing 11th this time around with 5 kills. As FCK coming in 12th with 4, 3 of which are from Noob. Overhaul having a bit of a rougher day today in 13th with 1 kill. We got Team Supreme in 14th with 4 kills. All 4 came from Foxalot. That's a heavy book bag. Another rough match for Forsaken Gaming, I've noticed. 15th with 1 kill from Solo. And we got Game Over Forever, the focal point of the first two matches, grabbing 16th this time around with only 1 kill to their name. I thought it was 0 earlier, my mistake. 1 kill to their name. 17th belongs to Holy with 6 kills, 4 of which are from Baby Boo. Another interesting resulting match here for Zero Remorse, 18th with 1 kill from SKR. Now, I'll just say it. They missed the first 2 matches, but still decided to come for round 3. So, tip of the hat to Team Eternal. 19th place, 0 kills. And lastly, coming in 20th is going to be the crew and exclusive with 0 kills. My main man, DK, what are your overall thoughts?
I mean, it was a pretty valiant effort being put in by the Thirsty Island Gold team, but we're going to have to take a look at those, those final overall standings to see what the result is at the end of the day, as it's pretty much up to date.
Oh, my man. Goodness gracious, that's quick work. All right, guys, bear with me for just a brief moment. There are a million efficient ways to do this, and I go for the least efficient one. It is my style. Give me just a moment as I drag this on to the screen. All right, so as it stands, the overall scores, thanks to our main man, DK, Thirsty Island does take gold with 51 points, 9-point lead over Game Over for Forever, who was still, even with that rough third match and only 1 kill to their name, able to hold on to silver. Coming in third is going to be in the Crew and Redemption, tied with Bope Esports at 4th, and Dauntless in 5th, all at 30 points. That's pretty insane.
Dauntless, they've got the chickens, so actually they're in 3rd place, right? Because we prioritize chickens first.
Very good point.
Dauntless actually locking in that 3rd place. I mean, me rushing through the scoring, I can't sort it perfectly, but I mean, this gives us a pretty good indication as to where the teams are finished, and quite a few of them actually walking away on 30 points apiece, as you pointed out there.
Yeah, and at this point is where things start to get really close. We got Max Split at 6th and Aramata at 7th with only 1 point differentiating the two teams. And look who ended up making lightning strike twice, making it all the way up to 8th place this time around. It's going to be 1D with 19 points. Good on ya. Zero Remorse. I thought that they had a rough day, but actually does still scooch by in 9th place with 18 points. And this is where things get really slimy, because 10th place is determined between 3 teams that all hold 17 points, and it is tragic, baby. It is tragic. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that it looks like it's Holy. It could be as FCK. I'm pretty sure DK's scoring is correct here. We're going to wait before we guarantee 10th place here. We'll wait and see what my staff's final standings say. But that is the best prediction as we can give it for the advancing teams. So once again, we're going to give a nice round of applause, golf clap, to the participants. Amazing performances all around. Just tons and tons of action. Great, amazing strategy being implemented here, guys. But all that is out the window. All your previous scores are out the window. We're coming in tomorrow with a fresh, clean slate. We got 4 rounds to determine who is going to be taking home that $400 cash prize. And only 4 matches to determine it. We'll have to wait and see. But it's been an honor and pleasure getting to cast today. I'm sure DK feels the same. But in the meantime, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for the Pittsburgh Knights Community Tournament Finals. And it's been a pleasure. I'm Red Eyes. See you guys tomorrow.
I'm DK. Cheers, guys.
I'm Red Eyes. You don't need to worry about who he is. See you guys tomorrow.